Almost didn't want to look up. These lights are about to burn me. I don't know why, though. It's only been 3 years since I was here as a high school senior. Now I'm back as a college senior, eager to embark on my journey. I know that more questions will begin to wreck my brain as I gain more life experience. It's just like the old AVID teacher, my fault, older AVID comrades would say, Isaiah, just keep living. But as of today, only one question perplexes me. With young men and women quickly sinking in the quicksand of complacency, educators who do not realize that they have to love the child and understand the child in order to instruct the child. And then a government that sees this but can offer no alternative to rectify the crisis. With these things considered, how do we seek to educate these individuals? It's a heavy question, but I know I'm in the right place to gain the answer. Unfortunately, I do not have the fail-proof answer, but in analyzing the issue, I've decided to attack it with a fail-proof profession. That's teaching. I was hoping you wouldn't give me that clap because I have to break it down for you. That doesn't mean teaching in the traditional sense. I'm going to need a lot more coaching and mentoring and a ton of prayer in order to assume that position. But I do believe that in everything that one does, one is a teacher. So in my numerous endeavors, I plan to instruct our youth to seek higher edification, not just for grades or for the approval of their parents or their teachers, but because Dean William Ing said, true education is not that of facts, but more so of values. There is more. In obtaining this knowledge, they must understand that they are obligated to engage in service. But again, not because I say so, because Marion Wright Elderman, the founder of the Children's Defense Fund, says, service is not something that we do in our spare time. It is the rent we pay to live. And lastly, I will encourage them, because in doing both of these things, with just simply living, they will struggle, no doubt. But I will encourage them to embrace that struggle, because nature intends for it to be this way. And that's all exemplified in this short story. One day, a young man came home from work, and he looked to his left, and he looked to his right, and in the corner, there was a mass. He knew what it was. He saw this mass, and he asked himself, how could this creature start off as one of the most hideous creatures in the world, something that everyone despises, and goes into this transformation chamber and comes out the epitome of beauty? Do you know what I'm talking about? I can, okay, I guess not. I'll keep going. So he took this mass and he brought it in the house, and he made a makeshift aquarium. He put dirt and leaves in there, and he put the mass in the aquarium. He sat there and watched it, and this would go on for days. He would go to work and come back and watch. Go to work, come back and watch. Until one day he saw a hole form. He sat there intensely, like you guys are doing me. And all of a sudden, something began to emerge. He sat there and he watched the struggle. He watched the struggle for so long, and it just all of a sudden stopped. I guess he began to freak out like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do? This creature, which no one knows of, is about to die. So he ran to the counter and he picked up a knife and he slit a little hole in that mass. As he intended, the butterfly, oh, I gave it away, easily came out. But this wasn't your average butterfly. You see, this one was disproportionate. It had a huge, bulky body and little tiny legs and little teeny wings. He was like, this one was still hideous. It didn't come out the way I thought. But maybe, if I give it time. He went to work, came back the next day, and the butterfly was dead. So now you're probably asking, what does that have to do with my kids and struggle? Because this is not Animal Planet, Isaiah. Allow me to break it down one more time. You see, by cutting off that struggle, the struggle that caterpillar had to initially go through, that man hurt him. His potential was cut off. Allow me to break it down a little further. You see, when that caterpillar struggles to come out of that little teeny hole, the fluid that is in his body is pushed to the needed parts, his wings to make them bigger, and to his legs to hold the body. That caterpillar didn't struggle. That's why he couldn't be the best that he could be. I refuse to let this happen to the kids of this generation. And that's why I would tell them. In closing, AVID for me, and here's a little list, I'm sorry. Dyron Ford, Valerie Fauntleroy, Sam Logan, Shania Simmons, Dion and Mrs. Garner, Deborah Littlejohn, Eric Hairston, Coach Moore and his lovely wife, Mrs. Moore. They instilled these three things and much more in me to make me a solution for today's problems. It is their influence and the dreams of a larger AVID community that will allow me to transmit these three tips to success to disadvantaged youth sooner rather than later. How so, you might ask? Via a nonprofit organization that I'm trying to put together called It's Your World, using the Old English etymology of the word that signifies that in this day and age, you still have to use old school things in order to succeed. The acronym stands for Withstanding Obstacles to Realize Life's Outstanding Desires. You see, AVID prepared me to be a solution, and I thank them for it.